What a beautiful morning, folks. God finally blessed us with just a beautiful day. It's been rain after rain after rain after rain, and we finally got through it. And it's been a little bit cold already. I was up north of us about maybe 2 hours to the west and to the north, and we even had some frost up there. But regardless, we're starting to work here on the tree. These apples got to come off, so that's what we're on to today. We're going to strip these suckers off and get them thrown in over here into the gator and get them up for making things. Whew, there's going to be a couple bushel in that tree, but we'll get her done. It's all going to get used. We're going to have some cider made and some, probably some canned apple pie filling, and probably can some apples, and then we'll dehydrate a bunch and probably even freeze dry a bunch. So I'm looking really forward to it. The next week is going to be pounding butt on the apples, folks. This tree's going to get stripped out real quick, and then we got a bunch more that are going to get done as we get into fall here. So follow along, we'll get her done.
This little tree we stripped down as best we could. Got, what? These pails are what? 16-gallon pails. These are a couple of the older trees. They're struggling a little bit. Probably need some branch trimming and stuff. This is a great tree over here. We've got a couple of them that came in. And we got pails. Pails and pails. We've got, one of our carts full. Now these are all what most people would consider kind of, waste apples. Around my neck of the woods, people take their apples for a pie. They take their apples for the refrigerator. Take a bunch for maybe apple crisp. They maybe give their neighbors, a pail or two. Maybe grind up a couple jars of applesauce. And then the rest of God's blessing just gets wasted. So I didn't really want to do that, so we pulled out the apple press. Very simple machine. And I bought this years ago, so I didn't have to pay quite so much. Turn the sucker on here, start grabbing apples, grind away. These machines probably now cost about $1,000 here, and unfortunately the $600-700 they were. Still a good machine. Take care of the wood on them. Keep them dry and covered up. I'm real pleased with the work. It makes a real mush here, and then you just put the cover on it. I forgot the darn bag. Gotta push the corners of the bag in, you'll tear your bag. So you gotta put the corners of the bag in here. This is a brand new bag. It'll look brown by the time we're done. And you can reuse the bags. You can just wash them up and reuse them. And then we'll get this thing kind of pressed down here in a second, and we'll get some juice going out of it. When you have a machine that's manual like this, you get a little bit of work out of it. My daughter Julia here, by the time she's done, will probably pressed, I don't know how many gallons, maybe 30 or 40 gallons. But she'll get it done. She'll just crank it down. My sons will keep her busy with apples coming her way and putting them in. That's the way you get it done. I fear that most people don't want to make the investment, but then I actually talk to people and I think it's more of the time. And I get both of those. The investment is stiff now at $1,000 for this liquid gold that's running out of here. And certainly time is precious. But yet at the same point in time, so is your health. There's nothing bad in these apples. They're not sprayed. Sure, there might be a bug or a leaf in them. But you're just squishing the juice out of it. You're going to cook it anyways and turn it into a nice cider. You could make regular apple juice out of this. Can it up. You can take the apple juice, add some cinnamon, some allspice, maybe a tissue clove, tiny bit of sugar. Can that up right away and make a non-alcoholic cider, which is what we like to do. I'll show you that recipe here in a few minutes. Or you can take this and start fermenting it out and make something natural and fun that's in the alcoholic version. You can see here's the waste. I pull out the bag and I dump it in. I used to hate to just throw this away, so now I've kind of found a use for it. It's just solid apples, really, just all ground up. So I switched that over to giving it to the pigs and making apple vinegar out of it. And one of our church friends comes over and takes it, and she makes apple cider vinegar. Here's the recipe, folks. Just kind of go through it. Get the sugar up here. Use some cane sugar, it's healthier. Ground cinnamon, some lids, some jars, some vanilla, and some allspice. For about a gallon of this, I might use a cup of sugar, depending upon the apples. I'm going to use some vanilla, and I'm going to use some allspice in it, and I'm going to cook it up to about 190 degrees. Once it hits 190 degrees, I'm going to drop it in this hot boiling water in the canner, and we're going to hot water bath them for about 10 minutes. My altitude here is about 964 feet. So that's what it'll be. So the mixture's all in here. This particular mixture is about not quite 5 gallons, probably closer to 4 gallons. I've got half-gallon jars here. So I've got a couple good tablespoons of vanilla in it. I've got 1 tablespoon of cinnamon in it, and I got about a half tablespoon of allspice in this one, and I got about 3 cups of sugar. I know I'm supposed to do a cup per gallon, but this particular set seemed pretty sweet. So again, it depends upon your apples. You need to taste it each time here as we're jarring it up. Especially taste it before you cook it so you can get that true flavor after you mix it in. And don't just dump your ingredients in and then quick taste it. Dump them in, stir it some more, stir it, let it sit a few minutes, and then taste it and see what you think. The bottom of these jars might have a little bit of settle out. Sometimes there's a tiny bit of pulp that still gets through the screening process. But most of the time it's going to be the cinnamon, the allspice that sometimes filters out. Don't worry about that, folks. That's fine to do. I got a trivet in the bottom of these turkey pots, aluminum turkey pots. I'm just going to set 4 half gallons in here. It'll do 7. Turkey pot will do 7 quarts or 4 half gallons. I boil these for 10 minutes, and then I take them out, and I've got, beautiful juice. I went to Walmart. I got some friends that go to Aldi, so I priced it out a little bit. These are half-gallon jars. These things are anywhere between about $6 and $7 in the store, folks, and I think that's a wonderful blessing. It's going to help the farm out, and I hope if you've got waste apples, you give this a try. Thanks for watching.